Army's ready, so is Navy, and here comes the kick. It is up in the air. It'll come down. It'll be taken by McCallum at the 5. Gets to the 10. Gets the net. Is hit and knocked down. No, the ball is taken away. Wallace has it. At the 20. Down the sideline at the 30. He's at the 40. At the 50. He's got blockers. He's going to go all the way. 30. Down to the 20. Down to the 10. Down to the 5. A touchdown. Healy's the quarterback. Fumbles the snap. Hands the ball off to Aikens. Trying to go to the outside, and he's going to be hit and knocked down. Quickly, Joel Papetti was the man who made the hit, and I believe Navy came up with a football. They did indeed, Andy Pontiego. And his longest pass was 46 yards. Hand off McCallum to the outside. Down to the 10 to 5. He's going to score. Napoleon McCallum on a handoff. Going 13-yard formation. They've got 3 men in the air. The sack guy back to throw. Heaney going long up the middle. Intercepted at the 35. At the 40, at the 45. Getting up to the 50, under 45 at the 40. At the 35. Down to the far side. Brady going all the way. He's going to score. He's out at the 10. Down to the 5. A touchdown. Steve Brady. And the mids have struck again.
We had a lot of positive things come out of this past season. We started out as a very inexperienced young football team at the beginning, and I think we improved as the season went on.
As Coach Gary Tranquil led his team onto the field for the start of the 1983 football season, there were indeed many question marks in the Navy lineup. With a host of inexperienced players filling key positions, Coach Tranquil was going to be counting heavily on several returning lettermen for early season stability. Junior tailback Napoleon McCallum was already a proven entity. As a sophomore in 1982, he had ranked 5th in the country in all-purpose running. Showing all too well, he was a threat as a receiver and a kick returner, as well as a rusher. Thus, the Mids' offensive hopes for the '83 season rested largely upon his broad shoulders. Junior Ricky Williamson took over at quarterback. With limited experience, the responsibility for running the young offense was now his. Back this year on defense were senior standouts George Herlong and Steve Peters. But senior All-America Andy Pontiego was the recognized leader and heart of the defense.
Andy Pontiego is a great football player. He's one of those guys that you didn't have to worry about from week to week. You knew he was going to be there. You knew his performance was going to be outstanding. He's one of those guys that has great instincts as a football player and plays to the utmost of his ability.
The 6'2", 225-pound Navy co-captain had some very clear reasons for attending the Naval Academy.
I wanted to play football. I wanted to go to a good school where I could play a good collegiate football schedule, but I also wanted to get the best education possible. And I thought Navy would give me that opportunity.
The opportunity to play football at the Naval Academy is something very special, and there are no more loyal fans anywhere than the Brigade of Midshipmen.
Whether you lose or win, they're always behind you. You know, those are the people you can always count on.
The fall gridiron contests at Annapolis are legendary, and there is a rich tradition here that harkens back to over 100 years of football history. Each year, the spirit generated by the men in blue and gold can be seen on the faces of every Navy fan. 1983 was a year of growth and maturing for Navy football. After some frustrating losses early in the year, by mid-season, the midshipmen began to come together. Under the leadership of Andy Pontiego, the defense was growing more cohesive as the season wore on. By the Princeton game, there were signs that the midshipmen were beginning to turn things around, with younger players now providing support for Pontiego and Wallace. Determined efforts against the likes of Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, and Syracuse proved that this team was once more competitive. Senior middle guard George Herlong had an outstanding season, as did senior Steve Peters. Andy Ponciego finished his 4 years at Navy with another strong showing. Invited to 2 postseason All-Star Bowls, Andy brought his total career tackles to an even 500, a school record. It is fitting that this talented young athlete will now have a place in the Navy record book. But it's not enough to simply stop the run. If they can't beat you on the ground, they're bound to take to the air, and you had better be ready. The Mids pass defense improved steadily in 1983. Sophomore Steve Brady picked off 5 passes and gained a total of 145 yards, an average of 29 yards per interception. Andy Ponciego also had 5 interceptions, as did Eric Wallace. Wallace, the junior from Hampton, Virginia, is perhaps the most versatile player on the Navy squad. Besides his duties in the defensive backfield, Eric serves as a spot receiver on offense. With excellent speed, he also shares kick return duties with Napoleon McCallum. This year, he averaged 29 yards per return. By mid-season, Ricky Williamson began to show the poise and confidence that only comes with time. Finding receivers like junior Chris Weiler and Ken Hine amidst enemy defenders, Williamson was increasingly able to thread the needle. More good news for Navy fans was the emergence of tight end Mark Stevens, who quickly became Williamson's favorite target. The junior from Hialeah, Florida, hauled in 41 passes in 1983 for a total of 483 yards and 3 touchdowns. An unheralded key to the ground attack was senior fullback Brian Caravale. He not only averaged 4.2 yards per carry, but earned the respect of his mates and coaches as the unflinching lead blocker for Napoleon McCallum. Junior Rich Klaus was another versatile back who early in the season gave the offense a boost. However, a knee injury kept him sidelined the last half of the year. And then there was Napoleon McCallum, a veritable offensive machine.
Of all the players that I've ever been around, in his right, he's as good as any. He's a young man that wants to be good. He's paid the price to be good. He's had a taste of that success, and I think from here on he'll be an outstanding football player.
McCallum, the junior from Milford, Ohio, now owns 16 school records, including 12 that he established in 1983. In addition, he easily earned the title of America's most productive college runner, as he finished first in the country in all-purpose running with a 216.8 yard per game average. He finished third in the country in rushing and 8th in punt returns.
Yes, I was surprised at the success I had this year. I really didn't expect to do this well. You know, I expected the team to do better. There was a lot of pressure on me, but, you know, you got to think of what's best for the team. And what I did for the team.
As Napoleon knows, football is a team game, and a running back is only as good as the men blocking up front. The revamped offensive line of co-captain All-America Jeff Johnson Doug Rhodes, Peter Oswald, Rich Coombs, and Mark Long spent this year opening holes for McCallum. They opened them wide, and they opened them often. McCallum is the most heralded offensive player to don a Navy uniform since Heisman Trophy winner Roger Staubach. Athletics fill a vital but proper role in life at the Naval Academy.
There are things that are more important than football, and I think that's the way it should be. Here at the Naval Academy, a naval career and education are the most important things, and I don't think in college athletics we can ever lose sight of that fact.
There are special demands made on the student athletes at the Naval Academy. To fulfill all that is required takes organization, and it takes discipline.
When you come back after practice, you have to realize that you have work that you have to get done not only on the field but in the classroom. And when you get back to your room, the work doesn't stop there, and that's where you begin.
Life at Annapolis is indeed a challenge, but one which fosters in a young man the maturity and confidence needed to become a leader. The tradition of excellence and pride here are world-renowned, but no tradition is stronger or more unique than the one surrounding the last football game of every Navy season.
1983 Army-Navy game program.
The Army-Navy game, America's most renowned football rivalry. This year, for the first time ever, held at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. The entire brigade of midshipmen was flown in to witness the annual ritual of Army-Navy Day, California style. A national television audience watched as Navy closed out its 1983 season in grand fashion.
Well, one thing about the Army-Navy game, it's always the last football game of the season. I think we always look forward to it because there is an intense rivalry, and that one's going to take care of itself. Nobody's going to have to get anybody ready to play because each individual knows what that game means, and I'm sure it's the same at West Point.
The opening kickoff of the 1983 Classic will surely go down in Navy football history.
Just for the game, I asked Coach Tranquil, was he thinking about using the play, and he said he was thinking about it and for us to be ready. And when we won the toss, he told us we were going to run it. So I was pretty excited about it. As me and Nap went back deep, we knew it was a pretty heavy wind, so Nap told me to make sure I came a little early because the ball might hang. And as I came back, I didn't come quite early enough, but things turned out okay. Nat was kind of mad at me because he got kind of beat up on the play, but it turned out all right. And as soon as I was able to gain my balance after being hit, there was really no one left except the kicker, and I had about 3 or 4 blockers, and I knew it was a touchdown. And I just didn't want to fall or slip, and once I got into the end zone, it was just great.
This 95-yard kickoff return by Eric Wallace set a Navy school record and started the Mids off on a scoring spree that left Army wondering what hit them. Touchdowns on a run by Napoleon McCallum and an interception and 65-yard run back by Steve Brady put the Mids up 21-0 with only 3 minutes and 57 seconds gone in the first quarter. It was now up to the defense to hold the lead. The Navy rush simply overpowered Army's offensive line. Eric Fudge was one of many Navy defenders who found their prey in the Army backfield. Senior Rick Pagel, in his last game ever for Navy, played like a man possessed with 11 tackles. Big plays were evident all day, as Joe Papetti shows here. The Navy defenders totally controlled the cadets for the first half of the game, allowing only 2 field goals and holding Army star running back Elton Akins to -1 yard on the ground. Midway through the third period, Army scored a touchdown, making the score 21-13, too close for comfort. The next drive was engineered with the precision of a well-oiled machine. First, McCallum broke a draw play off left tackle. He was finally hauled down after a gain of 18. A pass from Williamson to Stevens, netted 16. McCallum again, who almost took it in from the Army 13-yard line. And Williamson on the keep for the score. This brilliantly executed series gave the Mids back a commanding lead and reestablished the Navy dominance over the Cadets that was to continue for the rest of the game. An Army scoring drive was stymied late in the third quarter with this interception by Eric Wallace. Later, Williamson scored for the second time when he went around right end in the fourth quarter for the 5th Navy TD. As time grew short, Army was forced to play catch-up, and they played right into the hands of the mid-pass defense and linebacker Andy Ponciego. On the very next play, senior tailback Ronald McDonald bolted 30 yards for another Navy touchdown. On his only carry of the game, McDonald had scored his first touchdown ever as a Navy football player. With his perseverance and determination, McDonald seemed a fitting symbol for a team whose courage had brought them from adversity to victory.
What this game did to us was it brought the team together. It made the team realize what we can do if we pull together. We're not just an offense and a defense, and we're not a kicking team, and we're not, the defensive backs. We're the Navy football team, and I think we realize that today.
Every young man that goes through here and plays football and plays on a winning team and has a victory over Army, I think it holds a special place, and that's why the tradition has been maintained.
From the frustration of the early season to the resounding victory over Army in the Rose Bowl, the 1983 Navy football team had come a long way. The determination of the coaching staff and players had paid off as the team got a glimpse of how good they really could be. For the returning players, there were lessons to learn and goals to set for the future. For Navy football, 1983 was surely a year of maturing.